How to tell if you are hydrated. I get asked that question all of the time. Now, if you've been wondering how much water should I actually be drinking and why is it important, or is it even possible for me to be drinking too much water, then you are in the right place. I'm here to answer all of those questions in today's video, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, we're going to be going over the easiest and most reliable way to know if you're actually hydrated. Then we'll cover the most common mistakes you're unknowingly making. That way you can ensure that you're staying properly hydrated. And finally, I will be sharing with you the best method for knowing exactly how much water you should be drinking. This is not a one-size-fits-all, so you need to know the specifics. Drinking not enough water can land you in the hospital, but drinking too much water can land you in the hospital as well. So let's get to the details. Let's get started. What is the easiest, most reliable method that really doesn't take much science to know if you are staying properly hydrated? Well, the really easy thing to do is to check the color of your urine. Okay, now when you go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, your urine, that is, should be a little bit darker in its coloring because you see it has been concentrating all night long in your bladder. So that first look, don't judge how you're hydrated based off of that. But as the day progresses, you want your urine to be more the color of pale lemonade, not like apple juice. If your urine is not looking like pale lemonade, then you simply need to start drinking a bit more water until you see the color change in your urine. If it's staying dark like apple juice, we got to do something more to get you more hydrated. You're not drinking enough water in order to kind of dilute out what's trying to be eliminated through your system. Another way that you can do this, besides looking at the color of your urine, if you want a little bit more scientific approach to this, you can simply weigh yourself at the beginning of your day or before you're going to go do exercise, and then weigh yourself immediately after the fact. If you've lost weight during that activity, then you didn't adequately hydrate yourself during the process. So you need to do a bit better job. Anything, above 2% weight loss during an activity is actually synonymous with you being dehydrated. So easy methods. Check out the color of your urine, or if you're really into exercising, you play sports, you've got all kinds of fun activities, weigh yourself before and after and see how you're measuring up. Now, before I get into the most common mistakes you're unknowingly making when it comes to staying hydrated, I just want to take a moment, remind you to subscribe to this channel below, turn the notifications on, and hey, while you're down there, just click that big, nice thumbs up button if so far you're enjoying this video. I don't want you to miss out on a future episode. I'm regularly producing videos that are helping guide you on how you can take back control of your health, from staying hydrated to how you build muscle, to how do you improve brain health, gut health, keep your immune system strong, you name it. I am producing these videos just to help you be able to achieve what I like to call total body mastery. So again, just click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up if I'm doing a good job for you. Awesome. Now, what is the most common mistake you're unknowingly making when it comes to staying hydrated? It is drinking only water and nothing else, okay? Here's the deal. There is such thing as drinking way too much water. And part of what actually happens biochemically in your body is all of the water that your nervous system lives in and how your cells work, it's actually more like salt water than it is just pure water. You see, sodium and potassium are two of the main electrolytes, is probably what you know them, or salts, that the nervous system is dependent on in order for it to be able to communicate the right way. But as far as like muscle contraction goes, now you're talking more about the electrolytes known as calcium and magnesium. Here's the thing. I've done ultra marathons, so when you get into these high levels of, endurance sports, you can see the effects of being dehydrated or even overhydrated much more frequently. And it is a balancing act. The sheer fact that what you need to know is you can drink too much water. That partly comes in from not actually replacing your electrolytes. Now, if you're sitting there going, hey, Cal, I'm not an ultra marathon runner, like this doesn't really apply to me, I have news for you. Right now, creating this video, we're still in summer. In summer, people generally do a better job at drinking water. But what I'm here to tell you is just when it gets hot, don't even think about humidity, which amplifies all of this, right? You just doing normal activities, running your errands or just being outside for a moment, even if you're just relaxing, your body is going to use more of your electrolytes as well, not just the water, but the electrolytes too. And then if you choose to be active, whether you're swimming in a pool or you're hiking, you're out biking, whatever the case may be, you're going to use your electrolytes even more. Now, here's another scenario that throws a little bit more of a wrench into the system. Unfortunately, in the past couple of years, the whole western side of the United States has been having major issues with fires. And so I'm sitting here in Colorado right now, and we've had smoke in our air for a couple of months, it feels like now, because of the fires that are on the West Coast. One of the things that your body does to try to help basically get these pollutants back out of your system is it uses your electrolytes as transporters. So I've had several patients come in that are feeling more fatigued. They feel just kind of blah and weak. I've had several that are dealing with headaches. My suggestion to them is make sure you add more electrolytes into your daily consumption because your body is probably using more of them just to purify your body after breathing the air that we've been dealing with, which has been the worst in the world right now, which is awful. So it doesn't matter though, too, if it is summer and it's hot or you've got pollutants in your air, even in the winter months, guys, it is still important that we're getting enough electrolytes into our daily regimen as well. Now, most people know electrolytes in the form of sports drinks. I'm not the biggest fan of them because many of them have lots of sugars in them as well. Now, there's part of a science for that, but there are healthier versions that have come online. One of the ones that I like that you can get access to, it's called Element, LMNT, actually. This is for all those people out there who are trying to stay low carb, paleo, even keto. This sports drink would work really well. And it is really high in your sodium, your potassium, and magnesium, which is missing from most sports drinks. Now, I'm not affiliated with them, but I am always scouring, trying to find options that are healthy. A lot of these sports drinks are really sweet. What I like about this particular product is they use stevia for their sweetener versus using a bunch of different types of sugars or sugar alcohols. If you want to use something that's non-traditional, you could simply add in some coconut water, get the kind that is sugar-free, meaning they haven't added sugar to it because coconut water already has enough naturally occurring sugars in it. But coconut water is a great source for potassium. So are your bananas. So is celery. And then for sodium, I actually have people use Celtic or Himalayan sea salt because that's salt in its natural form. It's salt that's not going to amplify a blood pressure type of an issue. It has a well balance of other minerals too, not just sodium and potassium, some magnesium as well. So for your magnesium, some of the best nutrient food sources would be oysters, which is not my favorite thing. But if you like oysters, make sure you're getting as clean oysters as you can. They're a great source of magnesium. For all of us who could care less about oysters, use raw pumpkin seeds, also known as pepitas. They're really fancy terminology. Throw that into your salad, create your own trail mix out of it. All your dark leafy greens, your avocados also have magnesium. So you can add more food sources in of these really important electrolytes too. So I'm curious, did you know that it was that important to be replacing your electrolytes too, even when you're just living through your summer months or when you're active year round in order to be properly hydrated? Let me know your comments down below. I read every single one of them, so I always love when you chime in. Just let me know what your thoughts are on this. And about all of the electrolytes, most people know sodium, potassium. A lot of people don't think about magnesium or calcium. So let me know if that's a new thought for you as well. Like I said, just drop those comments down below. Perfect. Now, what is the actual best method for determining how much water you should be drinking? We've heard so many different scenarios about this. Way back when it was drink 8-ounce glasses of water per day. So 64 ounces in a day. Now you see the 75 hard challenge that's out there where people are drinking a gallon of water a day. And there's other people that are more geared fitness exercise enthusiasts that think drinking the gallon of water a day is something that's really important. This is what you need to know, okay? The scientific way to do this is to take your body weight, divide it in half. That should be the number of ounces of water you're drinking every single day. But here's the kicker. Do not go above 3 quarts. Okay, that's 96 ounces. I don't care if you weigh 250 pounds. Do not drink more than the 96 ounces in a day unless you're actively replacing those electrolytes, because it will be too much water. Okay, so that is your kind of minimal guideline. Anything above that, make sure you're adding your electrolytes back in. I wanted to share with you just though some of the importance of hydration and what are some of the symptoms you could experience when you're not necessarily hydrating properly, or more of these are geared with dehydration. One of the main areas that you can get kind of an overview of how well are you hydrating on a regular basis is your skin. If your skin is always seeming dry or it's flaking, it feels rough, it doesn't have this nice little like pull on it here, it doesn't just bounce back right away. Those could all be potential signs that maybe you need to work more at staying properly hydrated. Another area that could give you an indication is your mouth. Just feeling like you have cotton mouth all the time or dry mouth, that's another sign that maybe you're not properly hydrating. One that we've already mentioned is the color of your urine. So if it's getting darker, more towards apple juice, then definitely not drinking enough water in your day, and you need to add to that. One that people don't realize though is in the other elimination procedure, constipation oftentimes can be a sign of dehydration. You see, your large intestine is where all of the water gets absorbed back into your body. If you're not getting enough in, there's not enough water for it to absorb, and the remaining is going to be drier than what it would be otherwise. And that could definitely increase the difficulty with elimination. So we do have a thirst reflex, which very much so is a sign that you are thirsty. Normally, by the time you have that, you are definitely dehydrated. It doesn't normally show up right away. But something that happens is there are times where the thirst reflex isn't working, or these other indicators are not getting the job done. The message hasn't been received by you that now the body will give you a hunger sensation where actually it needs water, not calories. So this is part of where this was more of a weight loss trend where they're like, hey, before you actually eat, if you feel hungry, why didn't you drink a glass of water? If your hunger went away, you were actually thirsty, not hungry. So sometimes we get some mixed signals from the body, but if that's something you're experiencing, you could totally try that method and drink a glass of water first, and then wait a little bit and see if that hunger subsides. If it does, you were thirsty, okay? Now, as far as blood pressure goes, if you're somebody who has lower blood pressure tendencies, or if you've ever experienced that your blood pressure is kind of decreased, that could be a sign of dehydration. So you see, your blood is 55% made up of water. And if you're not getting enough water in, that could decrease the ability for the body to pump things through, and you can see blood pressure kind of drop, or you could see blood pressure increase because it's having a hard time being able to pump blood through as well. So any changes in your blood pressure, generally more common, the lowering of blood pressure could be a sign of dehydration. Now, you could also feel nauseated, or even just kind of those anxious butterfly feelings as well. That could be a sign. And then they get some really interesting things. My grandmother, my Nana, there were times she felt like she was having a stroke. She'd get numbness in her face. She'd kind of get tingling. She would just feel unbalanced, kind of off kilter. And when she went in, what we found out was she was actually dehydrated. She wasn't actually having a cardiovascular event, a stroke. She was purely dehydrated. So being dehydrated can show up in many different ways. Let's talk a little bit about overhydration, because there is such a thing. It is more rare in just our day-to-day lives. It's much more of a occurrence with our endurance athletes that are out for hours on end and they're sweating the whole entire time. That's easier or that's a more likely occurrence. But I want you to know these anyway, because it very much so, if you do this over and over and over again, is something that you could still be putting yourself at risk for. Now, when you drink too much water and you get to the extreme, there is a condition known as hyponatremia. And ultimately what that means is you don't have enough electrolytes in your body anymore because you've diluted them all out. So brain function, nervous system communication, muscle contraction, which by the way, your heart's a muscle, none of that's going to be behaving the right way because you don't have the salts in the body necessary for all those operations to work correctly. So the most common symptoms you would experience outside of like an endurance type of an activity are things like feeling fatigued, feeling weak, feeling a bit disoriented, or also unbalanced, not a very steady gait. You could also have some confusion or irritability. And then the extreme of this is when you go beyond, and this is something, again, not necessarily you'll see in the day-to-day, but if you've got an athlete and you guys are pounding the weekend and it's hot and, just only purely drinking water, but this is still something that could occur in your kid, or if this is you yourself. The extreme of this is that you can end up having convulsions or seizures, okay? Hyponatremia is something that you can die from, right? Not that that's funny, but just know there is an extreme version. So yes, you can absolutely drink too much water. The combination is water and electrolytes. We live in salt water, so we have to have that, okay? But it's more than just sodium and potassium. Got to make sure we're getting the magnesium in there as well. Now, if you want more ways to know, like, how can I continue to improve my health and up my game, be more resilient? If fatigue's something you've been dealing with, which is really common for a multitude of different reasons, then I've got a little bit more information for you down below. Simply click the description below this video. Have it so it expands. Look for my From Sluggish to Unstoppable ebook. I want to give that to you today so that you can also learn more methods that you can take right now and implement them to figure out why you feel the way that you do. Is it purely a hydration thing, or is there something else going on with your health that needs to be regulated or checked, or actually discovered what is the underlying cause? This ebook has the whole entire framework that I use with all of my patients near and far that helps them figure out how to get back on track and be able to take full control of their health. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to click that link down below, and I can't wait to see you on a future episode. God bless.